It's me again. I'm back. I'm back with our book. I thought I would come outside before it got too hot, and I would bring us some more of our warrior book. And I have my probably not so very good for me Alani. It's the worst flavor. Listen, I bought a 12-pack, but it didn't have my favorite flavors in it. My favorite flavor is cotton candy. And they have purple cotton candy also, which is second to the first cotton candy, I would say, as far as favorites. And pink slushy is good. But this one here is called Cherry Twist, and it's cherry and lime. And there's just something about it that I'm not I'm not putting it on my favorites list, but it's the only one I have left, so I'm going to drink it. Anyway, I thought I would come out here before it got super hot out. It's 92 degrees right now, which is hot, but it's going to be well over 100 degrees. So I figured take some time to get outside and read our book. So where did we leave off? Hold on. Today we're going to read about rising above our pain. And last time we read about standing up to our pain, and we read about emotional energy. I didn't highlight anything. I forgot. But to recap, for instance, we read, it shouldn't surprise us that when we live in the light, we find our greatest energy. And the contrary is also true. When we live in darkness, we lose our strength. The greatest darkness is to have no meaning for our lives. To live without meaning is to walk in darkness. So today, let's continue on with rising above our pain. And I'm going to put my readers on just so I know I can see. Aren't they cute though? I have 4 other frames. These ones are one of my favorites. I like the red ones, which is weird because I don't ever wear the color red. Okay, so I set a goal for myself with 6 holes in my stomach held together by glue. Evidently, they don't use stitches anymore. I determined that I would find a way to escape house arrest and run free on a basketball court. The journey began slowly. I decided to embrace my humiliation and began by taking walks in our neighborhood, rolling the catheter right by my side. I made myself take long walks and began going up and down stairs by the second day of my recovery. Exactly 3 weeks later, I know this because I wanted to make sure I would always hold the world record. I put all my basketball gear in a sports bag and dropped it down the stairs so that my sweet wife would not see me leave with it. I told Kim that I was going to go out for a while. She looked at me suspiciously right away and said, "What do you mean you're going out?" I explained to her that I was going to meet some of the guys and get out of the house. I just needed to enjoy the company of good friends. I think right before I left, she said something like, "Don't do anything stupid." I don't know why wives waste words like that on their husbands. Of course we're going to do something stupid. It's inherent to our nature. I drove to a local gym that a few of us had rented just for the occasion. The moment I saw all my guys, I was absolutely energized. I could feel my strength coming back before I threw on my Jordans and held the leather in my hand. We played for 2 hours that day. Some of the holes in my stomach broke open. Oof. And there was some bleeding along the way, but nothing that affected my game. I know it seems like a small thing, but running down that court, stopping on a dime, dropping threes on my much younger, healthier comrades may have saved my life as much as the surgery did. If you hear nothing else that I'm saying to you, understand this. Your freedom is on the other side of your fears. Your greatness lies on the other side of your pain. You will never live the life you are created to live or achieve your greatest dreams if you're not willing to bear the weight of that greatness and pay the price of pain that journey demands. Other than writing, perhaps the area that has allowed me to do the most good has been speaking. For some reason, I've always been uncomfortable calling myself a preacher. Maybe it's an old school connotation that you're preaching at people. But I find incredible fulfillment in knowing that you can speak life into people, that words have the power to change people's futures. So I told myself, you cannot get on a stage to preach until you have the strength to dribble and drive. Playing basketball is just a pleasure. Speaking life into people, now that's my passion. The reason I share this part of my story with you is so that you will not underestimate your own strength, so that you will know your own power. You may be reading this and feel as if you have lost your spirit, your energy, and your will. Yet it's not incidental that the word encouragement means to put courage into someone, and the word inspiration means to breathe into them. God wants to place both courage and spirit within you. He wants to restore your strength. Isaiah spoke to people who thought they could not take another step. He brought them encouragement and inspiration. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Looking back, I realized that the strength I found was not only in the strength that God placed in me, but in the strength of the people around me. It was not only the power of the people around me, but how their voices informed and formed who I am. Your tribe will shape your identity, and your identity will shape your future. There is something mysterious about the way humans are designed. We are designed to be made strong by the strength of others. We find courage in the courage of others. That's so true. If you're full of inertia and cannot find your way back to strength, then find your way back to people who are strong. Get in an environment filled with optimism and hope. Allow your soul to be nourished by the courage and inspiration of others. I have great privilege of meeting and knowing some of the world's most extraordinary people. One of those people is fitness instructor Angela Manuel Davis. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that here in Los Angeles, Angela would be considered royalty. Her kingdom is found in a small room in West Hollywood known as Soul Cycle, a fitness brand that was introduced to many through Oprah Winfrey. I first met Angela at Mosaic with her husband Jerome. It was then that I began to learn more about the uniqueness of Angela and Jerome, and also Soul Cycle, a force that's sweeping the nation. It's amazing the kind of influence a leader can have in a room that barely holds 60 people. For 60 minutes, Angela takes the rider on a journey on a bike that never moves. Now, although the bike never goes anywhere, you do. Honestly, to describe that 60 by 60 foot room as a kingdom probably isn't the most accurate description. Having now experienced what happens in that room, I realize that for those who are present, it is a church, or at least a profoundly spiritual experience. For 60 minutes, some of Hollywood's most influential artists and celebrities step into Angela's world and allow her to speak into their lives. She has the ear of the very artists and influencers who have the ear of our culture. Angela and Jerome kept inviting me to attend, but frankly, I was terrified of the idea. Cardio is not my greatest strength. While I try to maintain a high level of fitness, I was not in any way deluded enough to believe that I was at the level of conditioning that would be required to survive her class. She kept encouraging me. You can move at your own pace, don't worry. It's a really dark room and we'll put you in the back. No one will even see you. It's not a competition. She said all the right things, but she left out one major detail. She didn't tell me what would really happen. She didn't tell me how the energy in the room would overwhelm me, how the level of intensity and determination in that studio would compel me to give my best. She didn't tell me how her words there would speak powerfully into my life. She forgot to mention that whatever amount of force and power I could press into those pedals paled in comparison to how fast everything was turning inside me. I don't remember what the tipping point was, but I finally took Angela up on her invitation. At first, she had us close our eyes and take a few moments to pedal and reflect. We meditated on where we were in our lives and where we wanted to be. We began to still our souls and listen to our inner voices. Then she began to explain that the bike was really a metaphor for life, and that how we faced the challenges in front of us was indicative That's one of the words that just doesn't want to come out right. Indicative of how we would face the challenges of daily living. She told us that we are not different people in different places, one on a bike and one at work, but rather we were the same people everywhere we went. Finally, she commissioned us to bring our best into the studio, and if we did that, we'd be training ourselves to bring our best into every other room. Angela declared, with such strength and force and certainty, that there was more in us than we knew, that we could overcome the pain we felt. She told us to increase the tension on the bike so we'd have to push ourselves harder. We had to decide. We had to choose. We had to increase the pressure. We had to increase the tension. We had to up the ante. We had to decide what kind of challenge we were willing to face, and we had to decide how much strength we would find within ourselves. All the while, she would just keep shouting, "You are fighting for your freedom. You are fighting for your strength." It's in moments like these that we find the strength of our wills and test our determination. Every time I wanted to quit, and I wanted to quit so many times in those 60 minutes, Angela's words would help me find the strength I didn't know I had. Her direction had everyone in the room moving to the left and then to the right, backward and then forward, all of us in this beautiful syncopation that looked like a work of art. She knew that if we could step into the rhythm of everyone else in the room, we would draw from their strength, we would draw from their energy, and we would draw from their power. Near the end, when everyone was nearly spent, she told us not to only fight for ourselves, but for others, and to think of someone we were carrying, someone we were taking across the line, someone we were fighting for, someone we loved. Then she pressed in even further. The physical pain you are feeling is just a metaphor. It's just a reminder that the real battle is in the spiritual realm. Somewhere in the midst of that, I think she said something like, "I don't care how you look. I don't care how you live. It's not about looking good. It's about finding your strength." In a world driven by external perfection, the warrior chooses a different path. When the warrior looks at their own reflection, listen up. When the warrior looks at their own reflection, they see their soul. They know that both beauty and strength are found only within. They realize that everything on the surface is both temporary and superficial. You will know your tribe by what they see. If they see only your appearance, they are not your people. When they see your essence, that's your tribe. The warrior cares more about essence than about image. The way of the warrior calls out your inner strength, your inner beauty, and your inner courage. Frankly, I thought having cancer was hard, but Soul Cycle pushed me to the limit. I may have spent as much energy pushing the pedals as I did trying not to lose my lunch. My bike never moved an inch, but I traveled light years in those moments. I was drenched in sweat, yet I walked out of that room with more energy and strength than I had when I walked in. The room carried me. 60 people I had never met carried me. Angela Davis carried me. It was as if she gave everybody in the room a gift that could not be measured by weight or inches or worth. She gave us herself. She gave us her energy and her strength. And I'm going to stop there. That was a good one. That was a good portion of the book. It's not about what's on the outside. It's not about our appearance. It's not about what's temporary and superficial. It is on the inside is what matters. And so we read about strength in numbers and rising above our pain. I really enjoyed reading about Soul Cycle. I was picturing how that would look because I've seen it on TV before, those cycling classes, and how the bike goes from side to side. I could see the whole class doing that in unison. But it's true. It's like everybody's in unison and everybody's kind of like feeding off everybody else's strength and their energy and their power and strength in numbers, exactly. So I hope you enjoyed that portion of our book read. We're almost done with the book. Well, not really quite. We're about that far into it. We've got this much more to go. In our next we're going to read about life source. And that will conclude Code 6, Chapter 6. So we're going to finish Chapter 6 in our next video. Well, we'll call them codes because Erwin calls them codes, not chapters. So we're going to finish Code 6 in our next video and begin in Code 7. And Code 7 is going to talk about the warrior becomes one with all things. That's going to be awesome to read. So, okay, thanks for reading with me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for enjoying this book with me, all of you who view these videos. I hope you're learning from this book. I hope you're taking parts of this book with you every day that you hear it and you apply it to your life and you ask yourself the hard questions and you push yourself and you really just look to God, because really God is our strength. God is our source. And even Angela in Soul Cycle, Angela Davis, she said it's the real battle is in the spiritual realm. So that's why we get all of our strength from God and God alone. So, okay, with that being said, I'll let you go. I will see you on the next video. Bye.